Hey everybody, Jeppy here, and today we're taking a look at the extreme difference in power levels for the agents here in Valorant. Everyone thinks that just because an agent is a Radiant, that it automatically makes their power level higher than the humans on the Valorant Protocol, and well, that's actually kind of true. So let's start things off with the weakest agents at the beginning of the video. Surprise, surprise, there's going to be a lot of humans there, and then work our way to the most powerful agents at the end of the video. Again, surprise, surprise, there will be a lot of Radiants there. So starting us off at the weakest agent on the Valorant Protocol is going to be Cypher. And man, I'm so sorry to you Cypher mains for saying this, but when looking at the entire kit for Cypher, nothing really does damage at all, and he's just a normal human. Yeah, he's lived a pretty awful underground life of surveillance, so when comparing him to other agents on the VP for power levels, in my eyes, there's really no one that could be lower than him. Up next, and the second weakest on the VP, is Brimstone. I was actually torn between placing Brim or Breach as the second weakest, and let me explain. So with Brimstone, he has a Molly, which is good, a stim beacon that lets him move at pretty fast speeds, a smoke for cover, and an orbital strike for his ultimate, which in all fairness is a pretty strong kit for power levels, but I placed him lower than Breach because Breach has some pretty good concussive abilities, a blind, a damaging ability, and a monstrous rolling thunder ultimate, all of which can pass through and continue its power through walls. Plus, if it came down to hand-to-hand combat between Breach and Brim, I think Breach would win with his sturdy mechanical arms. So yes, I put Brim and Breach as the second and third weakest on the Valorant Protocol. Up next on the power level is Breach's little sidekick, Raze. So the reason why I put Raze higher on the power rankings is because of her maneuverability and explosive potentials. She has a really high damage output with 2 grenades and a super intimidating rocket launcher. But when you combine that with her flying around through the sky with her blast packs, she can pack a serious punch. The way I want to rank these agents is imagining if they got into a 1v1 fight, and so far I think Raze can beat every agent below her on this list pretty easily in my opinion. Also guys, make sure to subscribe if you do enjoy my videos. Only about 12% of people who watch my vids are subs, so if you want to support the channel and boost this video in the algorithm, YouTube would love it if this vid got a bunch of subs and likes. Thank you guys. Up next on the powered level is Sova. I place Sova pretty high up for the humans because his kit is specifically suited for dealing with enemies at a longer range. He can use his recon tools to spot enemies from a distance and either use his overpowered ultimate or shock darts to take them out. I placed him higher than Raze because if he's able to see her before she gets close enough, I think Sova can win. Next out for the power level rankings is Viper. I feel like this is a great place for Viper as she can completely enshroud herself and her near surroundings with her toxic poison, obscuring vision and getting into the lungs, doing damage to even Radiants that step into it. Not to mention, she also has her snake bites, which are full of acid that can deal damage to anyone who crosses her even further. Overall, this is a great spot for Viper. Now, surprising some of you guys, I'm sure, is going to be our first Radiant on the list, Jett. I actually think that power level wise, Jett is the weakest on the protocol for Radiance. Of course, she can move extremely fast and summon her knives, whipping them around the battlefield like bullets, but other than that, there really isn't much more she can do. Don't get me wrong, she is very powerful and can beat anyone below her on the list pretty easily. Next up is actually another Radiant, and it's Skye. Now, I know Skye has the potential to be one of the most powerful agents. We know this from KO, but currently she is not. Nothing she has can do damage to really anyone. Right now, she can really only locate, stun, and blind enemies and has to rely on her weapons to do any damage. So I think this is a pretty fair spot on the list for Skye. Coming up is the second to most powerful human on the Valorant Protocol, and that's Chamber. Of course, Chamber was going to make it pretty high up on the list, especially for a human. His ability to summon 2 fantastic weapons at any given time can't go unnoticed, and the reason he is this high is due to his rendezvous teleporting ability. Whenever he feels like he is in danger or is getting overrun, he can simply TP away to a safer location and engage the enemy once more. Plus, his trademarks can always watch his back, so he really never has to worry about a flank. Overall, Chamber is well suited, literally, to evade enemies and put himself into situations where he is more likely to win. Up next on the power levels is Phoenix. Now, I actually thought that perhaps Phoenix should be lower because, after all, the mirror agent Jett was able to beat him in a literal 1v1 in the Duality cinematic. But I think that's only because of Phoenix's overconfidence, which made him lose. In a recent video I made, Every Agent's Lore in Valorant Ranked, I talked about how Phoenix has learned from his past mistakes to better himself as a person and an agent. It's a great video if you haven't seen it already. It's worth a watch. I'll link it at the top. So I think if Phoenix and Jet were to duel again, Phoenix would come out on top. Plus his radiant powers are actually really strong and can heal himself if he takes damage. Now here we are at the last human on the power rankings, and it has to be Killjoy. The machines she can build really are a force to be reckoned with. She will know if an enemy is coming with her sentry and alarm bots and control their pathing with her grenades. Plus, she has one of the most powerful ultimates on the VP, her lockdown. Even Reyna is intimidated and scared by her machines, so that really should say something. Do you guys think KJ deserves the most powerful human award on the VP? Let me know in the comments. Next on the rankings is Omen. Even though nothing he does can cause damage to enemies, his ability to emerge from the shadows and throw out a paranoia blind through walls can't go unnoticed. Like Chamber, he can TP away if he finds himself in danger, but on a grander scale with his ultimate. Overall, a very powerful agent. Next up is Sage, the dedicated healer on the VP. The reason why she made it this far is due to her survivability. She would be able to last pretty long in a fight with her healing herself if she takes damage, along with using her slow orbs and walls to either defend herself to get into a better position or use them to trap an enemy that she can promptly take out. Plus, in the warm-up cinematic, we can see that Sage used her wall to utterly annihilate the Maxbot, crushing it into the ceiling. Well, that's until Maxbot wanted to get up and kill Cypher. Cracking into the top 5, Neon joins us after Sage on the power levels, and for good reason. I think people sleep on just how strong Neon is. She told Brimstone that she can power an entire city block with her electricity she generates. Now, when she channels that into her ultimate ability and fires it through her fingers like freaking Emperor Palpatine, like, that's an entire city block of power hitting you all at once. That's shockingly powerful. Okay, that was lame. But when you combine that with her wall to provide cover and her ability to stun agents and run up on them quickly, Neon is extremely powerful. Reyna comes in as the 4th most powerful agent on the VP, and I will explain why. Remember how I said I was going to run these rankings on 1v1s with all the agents below them to see if they could beat them? Well, Reyna's power levels grows exponentially with each enemy she takes down. But if it's just a 1v1 with each agent, she really can't get going to her full potential. So besides the 2 blinds, her kit really doesn't help much there. She does have the most experience in killing people than any other agent on the VP, so we have to take that into account. But I think every agent above her can beat her, even though it'll be a great fight. Next up is my boy Yoru, the Riftwalker, coming in at the top 3. Yoru's power level is actually insane, like genuinely insane. Like, just picture this for a moment. You're standing there, then out of nowhere you get blinded. You hear a weird noise come from behind you, and then bam, you're dead. Like, that's all you'll experience when Yoru is hunting you. He can put on his mask and open up another dimension, locate you, throw out a flash to blind you, open up his rift, pull out his gun, put a bullet in the back of your head, and then close his rift or TP away. Like, it's that easy for Yoru. Plus, he can easily distract enemies with his fake projections and TPs. He's actually insane. KO joins us as the 2nd most powerful agent on the VP. Firstly, let's take a look at the simple fact that he's a robot. He doesn't perceive pain or damage like you or I, or even radiance, so he can keep fighting until his robotic body cannot physically do it anymore. Plus, with a combination of his knife and null command ultimate, he can totally shut off and suppress any radiant or even human-made ability for around 20-ish seconds in total, which is more than enough time for KO to get close enough with either his flashes or block escape routes with his grenade and take out his enemy with his weapons or robotic bare hands. Plus, we know that he already killed Reyna in the Radiant Wars, so it's already confirmed that he can beat her. Now, coming in at the most powerful agent on the entirety of the Valorant Protocol is going to be Astra, the queen of the cosmos. I've believed for quite a while now that Astra's power potential is unmatched on the VP. the ability to control space around her and distort it to her will anywhere around her is insane. The only agent that can possibly beat her would be KO in my eyes, but I think with enough smokes to hide in, or a combination of all her other powers before KO fires off his knife or null command, might be enough to conceal herself to wait out KO suppressive abilities. Plus, I feel like Astra could do really whatever she wanted with her powers of the cosmos. Like, in all reality, she could do damage with it, but the devs don't want to give Astra anything that can damage people to balance her, I'm assuming, but I feel like Astra can definitely hurt people if she wanted to. So guys, who do you think is the most powerful and perhaps even the weakest agent on the VP? Let me know in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe to notifications if you're new. Now, with all that being said, Jeppy out.